Welcome back, folks. We're doing something different today. We're going to go to a couple areas. Welcome to the Sierra foothills of California. This is the southernmost section of the Mother Lode. What we're going to do is we're going to work the stream down here. I've worked this area many times before, and I found numerous sized nuggets throughout the stream area. It was worked, by Anglos and the Chinese, and happened to squeeze out quite a bit more gold out of here over the last 5 years. And we're going to go in here. The objective today is we get a signal, we dig it. We're going to dig targets today, and we're going to put in a good effort today and go for it. All right, I'll see you in the next target, and let's get to it. Okay, so we got the 17 by 13 Avo here. Like I said, I've worked this area before. We're going to be listening very, very hard for the very faint signals, very deep ones. I've pretty much gotten all the surface stuff. So if we're going to be doing anything here, we're going to be listening carefully, very carefully. And for the small pieces that are down deep, and perhaps the bigger pieces that are even deeper than that. So I may be digging some deep holes today, but it'll definitely give me a little break from the Nugget Gully and hit some of the old spots, my old patches. All right, like I said, see you in the first target. Okay, I got a first target. Let me dig it up a little bit and see what we get. All right, well, here we go. We're gonna find some boot tacks, boot nails. All right, let's continue. Summer's here, folks. 91 in California. Very dry and very hot. Big coils, big holes. Still in there. Looks like it's right down the center, whatever it is. Okay, it's finally out and about 2 feet down. All right, sounds like iron, but let's check it out. Okay, I see it. It's not gold, but it is part of a belt buckle right there. It looks like the not sure if it's the tongue or the tongue holders for 2-piece belt buckle. Let's see if the other piece is in there. Still cool find if it was intact. All right. Okay, second target. We're working our way upstream. Got a little bit of shade, but not so much. But anyhow, we got a target here. Let's dig it up. It's on the bank. Well, what I like about it is that it's deep. Okay, so let me dig this sucker out and see what we have. Okay, it's in my hand. Oh, no way. No way. No way. There it is. There's a piece of gold right there. Oh man, you don't know how excited I am about this. Look at that. Awesome. Hey, there's still gold here. Can't get it all, can you? And on this bank right here, I never really found anything before. I found it over there where the sun's shining, just maybe 20, 30 feet ahead of us. But I've never found anything on this bank. But there it is. All right. Give it a little wash. There she is. Got our first nugget, folks. All right, let's continue. We'll throw in our drinking bottle right there. All right. Okay. Let me just reference you. This is the center of the creek right there at this moment. But never overlook the banks. You see that hole up there? right by the tree, maybe 4 feet down. Okay, I even go 15 feet beyond that tree. Okay, because hundreds of years ago, you never know if there was a torrential flood and the water level went up and dumped some gold up top above there. I've found gold way further than they mined before. So check the banks and go beyond the bank, at least 15 feet. Because if in the summer they were tossing the dirt to work in the winter, they could, a strong man could toss a shovel full of dirt 15 feet away. Okay, so always check everything. Okay, let's continue and see you in the next target. So right now what I'm doing is, since I've been here before, there's a threshold, meaning when you run your pulse induction or your VLF detector, it's a sound, it's the background sound, it's a hum. So what I'm listening to in areas that I call dead zone areas, where I've been through many, many times before, and you just, you're listening to a slight change of threshold, or it just kind of changes the tone, but it's very faint. And that's where you got to scratch out an inch or two and see if it's actually a target. So when you're hitting the old patches, go back with the bigger coil and listen very carefully. You see how slow I'm moving it? If you're going any faster and hunting that type of a ground, you're going to miss those deep targets. So you're better off covering a small portion of the land rather than going fast. If you're looking for a new patch, you could go, by all means, you could go pretty quick. But when you're in an area where gold's been found before, you better dig every target, and that includes everything, trash. Because there's gold there. There's gold underneath the trash. One time I found a square nail or two, and I got another target underneath it. I pulled out at least 17 nuggets underneath that square nail, the trash. So that was a lesson learned. Okay, I've been digging this signal for a bit. At the top, it didn't sound like much of anything, just more of like a, detector noise. Bleep here, bleep there. Then I dug down about 6-7 inches, and now there's a more distinct signal. Let me check. Yeah. I don't know. It seems like it's deeper now. At least, hopefully it's getting into some hard pack. But it looks like a tailing pile. Anyway, you see the beautiful poison oak right there? Isn't it just beautiful stuff? But anyhow, whenever I go out in the area where I've dug before, countless and countless and countless times, and you that detect for nuggets, you know that you go to these spots 20, 30, 40 times again and again and again, and you're always able to milk out another nugget, just like I did over there. Now, I come in with new ears, meaning I focus and I listen through the threshold, and any little distinct change in it, I'm going to take some material off the top and continue until I figure out whether it's a real target, if it's ground noise or whatnot. So right now we got a target in there. So let me dig that out and see what it is. Okay, we're here. Target's moved. Okay, it's right over here. Okay, I don't have my gloves on, and I do not want to touch that root. It really sounds bad. Sounds like a square nail. Okay, darn it. One thing about big coils, it's really hard to pinpoint. So you go with the front, the toe. Okay. It's in my hand. No. Wow, it is a piece of gold. Look at that. No way. All right. Oh my gosh, look at that hole. That was down about a foot. All right, this one here is at least 3/4 of a gram. Let me clean it up a little bit. If you see it, it's pretty dirty. Man, okay. So put on new ears whenever you go on this familiar site. Slow down, use a bit coil, listen to the threshold, and any little change in threshold, dig that. All right, let's dig this. Let's see here. All right, here she is. There she is. Let's look at her in the sun. She's a beauty. Hey. All right, that's number 2. This one's pretty coarse. Nice color. All right, we're on to gold here. Let's continue. See you in the next target. Let's put her in here in the bottle of water and then take a drink. Who needs that copper iron? Man, I need that gold. Here we go. Next target. Okay, we're going upstream. And right here, I'm not sure if it's a target, but there's a dip in the threshold. So I'm just going to dig it out and see what we get. All right. Just remove some of the surface, about 2-3 inches of loose dirt. Let's see if there's a target there. Yeah, it's a woo-wee. It's a deep target. Whenever it goes woo-wee, those who use pulse induction, usually it's a deeper target. Low tone, high. Let's try it again. Okay. May have 2 targets here, so we'll see what that is. It's a pretty harsh tone. Makes me think it's trash. Oh. It's in my hand. Yep, there it is. It's a square nail. All right, we continue. Wow, so nice to get out of that sun. We got some shade right here. I'm right in the center of this seasonal creek. A lot of trees, a lot of poison oak, but I do have shade, and I'm just going to take it slow and just hit the bank and listen very carefully. Okay, see you on the next target. Okay, over here I don't know what it is. It sounds more like EMI interference. Just whenever I go over here, where the ground over here is silent. Well, let me ground balance it. Okay. I come over here and there's a slight. You'd go right over it if you weren't listening. I'm just going to take a few inches off of it, see if it's a target or if it's just ground noise. Again, I got to take some more off. I took about an inch or 2, and still, there's like nothing there. It's pretty silent. But I'm going to still take another inch or 2 down. You never know, a piece of quartz with gold in it, down deep, a foot, you never know what kind of sound it's going to hear. You're going to hear it, so you better just verify it and dig it deeper and make sure it's not a target. Well, here's an example. Whew, sorry, I'm tired. But I pushed it over to the left a little bit. And now I'm getting something. I'm getting something here. So I got to dig some more. This is an example of how you have to go wide. And if you think you hear a threshold change, just dig it. Oh, okay, we have a target here. Let's dig it out and see what that is. Oh, there it is, folks. There's a little square nail at the broken piece of square nail. It was giving me an interesting sound, and I can understand why. When you have a nail, you have two sides of it. So when you go over it, you're going to get a double blip. And at depth, it sounded just bizarre, but we had to dig it out. Now we know what it was. And I missed it many times beforehand since I was, in the past, I've been through here. Okay, I think I got a target here. I don't know. Again, it's just a change in threshold. We'll scratch up some of the dirt and see if we get anything. I have uncovered in this section here, I've covered some quartz with specimens with gold in it. Right here where I'm digging. So I don't know. I'm gonna dig it out a little bit, see if we get a target. Nah, nothing here. I took down 2 inches and I don't hear the threshold change. Could be just a little mineral pocket. Yeah. Let me take it down a little bit further just to make sure. Yeah, nothing here. All right. Let's go off to another target. Okay, got a little target here. Let's dig it out, see what it is. All right, got it out of hole. Let's use the magnet, the end of the pick, see if it's a piece of trash. Yep. Unless that's a secondary target. Let's take a look. It's right at the toe, the front toe. It's still there. All right, let me check it out. See what we got. Magnet's got it. There it is, folks. Right at the top of the magnet. Right here. Piece of iron. All right, let's continue. All right, we're going to leave this area right here, and we're going to go to another spot. We got 2 nuggets right here. I'm happy. It's hot. It's getting to be noon, and it's the metal detector's starting to warble a little bit. The electromagnetic interference. Who knows where it's coming from? But and there's a slight wind. So anyway, we're going to go to a new area. We're going to get a little bit more shade over there. And let's try to squeeze out another nugget at least. I'd love to get 3. And then we could call it a day. But all right, let's get over there. I'm going to hop in the car and we're going to drive out there. All right, we're almost there. All right, now where we're going now is just upstream from this little dry creek. And like I said, I've detected this area before, but we're going to put on our new ears and we're going to be super hypersensitive to any changes of the threshold. We're going to do a little boot scrap of the dirt and see if it's a target. And if we come up to a real good target, we'll just dig it. We're going to dig everything. Let me just park right here in the shade. All right, I think we're safe right here. We're not going to cause any fires. All right, guys, let me get everything together and I'll meet you down at the dry creek. All right, we're here, we're parked. I need a little drink here. We always got to hydrate. I put a little lemon in my water container here. It sure tastes a lot better than water. All right. Let's get to it. See you at the first target. Now, this spot we're heading to right now is just upstream from where we were earlier. So I'll call this more the headwaters of this creek, the beginning of the creek, way up top. There's no other place. It's basically one valley, and when it rains, all the water flow comes from the hills, the surrounding hills, and it goes down into this little gap right here, and it continues on. So we're at the top. I've hunted here many times before, picked up a bunch of dinkers and some nuggets, and we have new ears on, and we have the Avo coil right here. So it's proved today to be able to pull really small nuggets down deep. But you got to listen, you got to dig all targets. So let's get on track here, and let me put my earphones on, and like I said, we'll see you on the first signal. Okay, we're at our new location right here, Sierra Foothills, Mudload, California, and we're down at the dry creek, and I think I may have a signal here. Very faint, it's very deep. Let me remove some of that dirt, open that up, and see if we got a target there. Okay, I cleared a little 2x2 little section there. As you can see, there's no grass, there's dirt. And it appears the signal, the target is right here. So I have to clear that up a little bit deeper and go to the right some more. Okay, give me a second. I need to verify this. Okay, we definitely got a little signal here. Right there. Nice, soft signal. Okay, let me get down there and dig that puppy out and see what we got. Well, ended up being a hot rock. I'm going to take a closer look at this one. Yeah, I'll take a closer look at this one. It just looks a little different than the others. You know, it's quite heavy, but it just doesn't have that appearance to me. But I could be wrong. I'll have to crack it and see what's inside there and put a magnet to it. Typically hot rocks, they have a lot of iron sulfites in there. And when you put a magnet, actually I have a magnet right here. Yeah, slightly magnetic. Maybe not. Feels like it, but yeah. Yeah, it's magnetic. Okay, it's a hot rock. We'll just toss that puppy. Or I'll just put it off to the side, pick it up when I head out. Okay, let's continue. Okay, I'm inside right in the center of the creek, working the bank. Seems like I got a little bit of a threshold change here. Let me clear the first few inches and see if we get a target. All right, folks, no targets in this spot. It's getting really warm. The detector is starting to warble a little bit. I think there's a lot of electromagnetic interference. I'll decide if I want to spend another hour. I may go to one more spot. Yeah, give me a few minutes and I'll be there in a few minutes, and we'll get to the first target and we'll try a little bit longer. Other than that, we're going to call it a day pretty soon. I'm happy with the 2 nuggets we found today. That was a complete surprise. Did not expect that. But hey, I'm stoked. All right, see you on the next target. All right, folks, we're going to call it a day. It's just getting a little too hot, and we'll come back later on this week, probably on Friday, and we'll hit it again. Thanks for visiting. Thanks for watching. Subscribe and like, and see you on the next hunt. Have a good day.